Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Blue Lady Couture. In this video we're going to be going on an adventure to a land far, far away because we're going to discover the most wonderful and magical fairy tale that I think exists in the modern world. I'm going to take you to Wonderland, which is the amazing photographic series created by the artist Kirsty Mitchell. Who Kirsty Mitchell is, I'm fairly certain that you may well have come across her work somewhere on the internet in the last few years. Kirsty creates the most magical, whimsical, otherworldly kind of fantasy photographs. I'm going to read you Kirsty's bio from her website, which is kirstymitchell.art. So if you want to go and check her out, you absolutely can. And you'll also find her portfolio of all her artwork, which I'm going to talk about to view on her website as well. It says, Kirsty Mitchell is a British fine art photographer and multifaceted artist who draws on her past careers in fashion design and costume making to produce images of beguiling, dreamlike worlds. Her work is entirely real, taking months to meticulously hand make the costumes, props, and the sets. And I think that's the thing that fascinates me about Kirsty Mitchell and her work, because I've followed her for many years, or not quite from the beginning of when she started her most famous series, which is Wonderland, but certainly in the latter half, after I kind of discovered her first sort of images online, and then I began to follow her, and as she produced her later pieces of work as part of the series. That was the thing that fascinated me about her and her work, that these photos are real, and I'm sure that there's a little bit of post photo editing that happens, but everything that you see in those photos is real. The model, the makeup, the wigs, their costume, the props and accessories, and even though the backdrop, the settings, they're all real. It's just incredible when you realise this door is real. Kirsty Mitchell created this door and took it into the woods to photograph it. It's not AI, it's not computer generated, it's real. These trees are real trees, the model's a real model wearing real clothes covered in flowers, and the door is real in the woods. I think the only thing that is fake in this picture is the snow, but it's real fake snow that they put in the woods for this photo. In fact, it inspired me for one of my own photos shoots that I did for my version of the Snow Queen. And I find that just so awe-inspiring. I wish I could half create an image like what Kirsty creates, because they're just magical, and you truly feel like you can lose yourself in this world that she's created. So Kirsty started the Wonderland series tragically after the death of her mother in 2008, and she spiraled into severe depression, and she found that the only way to cope with her emotions and dealing with the situation she found herself in was to create art. And she would go out walking around in the countryside around her home and find these beautiful settings in the woodland, and with the light coming through the trees, and of course at different times of the year when different weather created different effects. And she basically developed this story idea that loosely follows this young girl on this journey of kind of self-discovery, but also kind of finding her way home, finding her place in the world. And I think that's something that many of us can connect with. That whole kind of fairy tale world is something that very much resonates with me. I've been fascinated with fairy tales and just kind of folklore and kind of fantasy worlds ever since I was a child. So the idea as an adult, being able to enjoy this kind of fairy tale story, I just loved it. And I say the work she produces is just so beautiful. The Wonderland series itself consists of 74 photographs, I believe, which I think she produced over about a 6-year period, give or take. Some of the first images that I came across of Kirsty's were her lavender images and her kind of her blue series that she did. And I'm just a sucker for those, dreamy blue lavender kind of colours. So they really, pulled me in, and I was like, wow, these are incredible. And then obviously I started to just wait for the clock to finish chiming, because of course I wound that up today. Time for a tea break. Luckily, it's only 2 o'clock, so don't have to wait hours. So I consider myself quite lucky and privileged to discover Kirsty and her work kind of early on in her career and in the process of creating Wonderland. Because for those that used to follow along on her website and on her social media, she used to put up behind the scenes and sneak previews, and you could see kind of the work coming together. And she recorded a diary for each of the images. So you could follow along with her journey and the story within the Wonderland series and the photographs, what her emotions were and her thoughts and feelings and the people that were involved with creating the photographs. It was a privilege to be able to follow that journey and see the pictures be released and come to life. At the end of the series, Kirsty decided that she wanted to release the photos. So she did release some of the photos as incredible, huge, full-scale, photographic reproductions. She didn't do lots and lots of small prints or anything like that. If you wanted a piece of her work, you had to pay, understandably, a lot of money for a big photo print, which unfortunately was beyond my means. And I'm not sure I could have picked a favourite image anyway. But what she did do was she did a Kickstarter to create a book with all her images in. And what she created was simply the most beautiful fairy tale book that a whimsical fairy tale lover like me could ever wish for. So it's a proper, beautiful, cloth-bound book with gold embossing in it. It's probably the most expensive book that I own, but also for what you get in it, it was incredibly good value. And it means that I do actually now have copies of every single one of Kirsty's beautiful images in her Wonderland series. It also has beautiful detailed shots of all the costumes and props that she used in the series. And it also has her full diary showing the behind the scenes and the making of each of the images, the work and kind of how she produced all the props and accessories and the backdrops and things like that. So for myself as an artist and a creator, it's wonderful to have as a kind of a reference to inspire me when I'm trying to create those, whimsical images. They're nothing on the scale of these, but yeah, I think we all need to have that beautiful piece of inspiration. And I mean, look at the size of it. I very pointedly remember when Kirsty was releasing the book, she said she wanted it to feel like when you were a child and you read to you from fairy story books, and the books always seemed so huge because you were so small. And obviously that's something that you lose when you get to be an adult. Suddenly the world seems, a lot smaller all around you, and loses that sense of awe and wonder. Whereas with this, I think you retain a little bit of that, because it's just incredible, and the images in it are just huge. Some of them are double-page spreads, and there's some that are actually triple-page spreads that fold out as well. And yet, obviously, because this was a Kickstarter, the book is signed by Kirsty, and also in the back is my name as one of the contributors to the Wonderland series. So it's very special, little something to have. And in sort of 2015, which I think is roughly when this book came out, I had my own big piece of personal grief to deal with the death of my sister. So yeah, I certainly resonated with Kirsty's story and Kirsty's work, and that whole, you know, losing yourself in another world, in creativity, and, you know, anything to distract yourself from the pain, and seeing the pain that others around you are going through as well. So it certainly means a lot to me, this series. Perhaps one of the saddest things of all, and in some ways almost makes the series more poignant and special, is that the model Katie, who features prominently throughout the series and kind of became Kirsty's muse, and we basically follow her as the girl who's trying to find her way and find her way home. She's called Katie in real life, but she very sadly, just a few weeks prior to me recording this and going to see the exhibition, she sadly lost her own battle with cancer, a very rare form of cancer, and she sadly died just a few short weeks ago. Which is very sad, because although I never knew her, you know, as a real person, I've seen her so many times, you know, looking at me out of these pictures, and it was really sad when I found out the news. I actually cried, even though I've never met her. But why am I telling you about this and showing you this amazing book when I said that we were going on an adventure? And yes, we are going on an adventure, because Kirsty is actually putting on an exhibition of her Wonderland series this year. And she's done one or two in the past, but they've always been in places where I haven't been able to get to. Although, not that this is any easier to get to, but I'm going to Sweden in, what are we now? It's Saturday. Wednesday, I'm flying out to Sweden with Mr. BLC for a little bit of a holiday, but also because when I heard that Kirsty was doing this exhibition, I just knew I had to go. And in one of those amazingly bizarre twists of fate, I have a very long-term friend who lives in Sweden, and as luck would have it, she lives almost exactly halfway between Stockholm, which is where we'll be flying in, and the castle where Kirsty's exhibition is going to be held. So we're flying out to Sweden. We're going to be spending a couple of days with our friend Aurora at her beautiful Swedish home in the countryside, and then we're taking a little road trip up to this amazing castle where Kirsty's exhibition is going to be held. And it's not just an exhibition of her photographs, it's the first time that some of the props and the costumes are going to be on display as well. Yeah, I'm so incredibly excited to see her artwork in person. These images aren't small images, these are big pieces of artwork, and I'm just so excited to lose myself in them for a few hours. And what could be more magical and fairy tale than seeing them in a castle in Sweden, of all places. I'm still pinching myself that I'm going to be doing this and seeing this. I'll be honest, at the time of recording this, I don't 100% know how much I'm going to be able to record in the exhibition. I'm hoping I can certainly record some. If I can't vlog it as, you know, speaking to camera as I go around the exhibition, and because I don't want to disturb, you know, other people or anything like that, I will certainly capture some footage to show you, but I'm certainly hoping I'll be able to film around the grounds of the castle itself. And who knows, if I can't film, then this video will probably never see the light of day, and there'll be 25 minutes of footage and hours of my life that I'm not going to get back. Welcome to Sweden, and welcome to the fabulous Lääckős Slott. I think I'm saying that right. I apologise to all my Swedes. And I am here with my Swedish friend Aurora. I think that's how I say it right, but I do apologise if I've got that wrong. But yes, we're at this beautiful castle here in Sweden, and this is where Kirsty Mitchell is hosting her latest exhibition, and we're going to go and explore a bit of the castle as well, hopefully. And yeah, so keep watching and follow me as we explore the castle some more.
personal series called Wonderland that is created in memory of my mother Maureen, who passed away from brain tumour in 2008. It is almost impossible to put into words what this body of work means to me, or the person it's dedicated to. My mother was an English teacher of over 30 years. Her life's great passion is storytelling, literature and books, the way that art and photography are for me now. After I lost her, neither the writing nor carrying the art to me. She was my best friend.
Thank you so much for joining me on our trip out to Lääckős Slott to see Kirsty Mitchell's exhibition. I'm not affiliated with Kirsty in any way, I'm just a huge fan who followed her for many years and was so excited to come and see her work here at the castle. You know, the actual physical exhibition, and as much as I love her book, you can't beat just seeing her wonderful work in person. And yeah, and obviously I want to come and support her as an artist. If you want to support Kirsty, you can of course follow her on her socials and give her lots of support there. If you like this video, please do give it a thumbs up, and if you want to leave a comment down below, that will really help my channel out. You can also subscribe to be notified when my next video goes out. I do lots of videos like this where I go out to interesting historical places, exhibitions, events, and you can also join me in my sewing room when I'm making costumes and outfits as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye from Sweden!
To produce images of beguiling. To produce images of beguiling. Oh my god, I can't say the word beguiling. Her work is entirely real, taking months to meticulously. Oh my. And who knows, if I can't film, then this video will probably never see the light of day, and there'll be 25 minutes of footage and hours of my life that I'm not going to get.